Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play The Witcher 3. It's another fresh and cold morning in Hindersfjall, and today I want to do the quest that Yennefer gave us a while ago. I think she wants to talk to us, but there's probably more to it than that. Maybe we want to read the description again, because it's a while ago that I got this quest. Before Geralt and Yennefer parted after their adventure in Freya's garden, the sorceress asked him to meet her in Larvik. She made it clear this was a personal matter, but gave no further details. Okay, so it's a personal matter. And I think she is at the tavern, so let's go and find out what this is about.
Grieves there the men.
And I think, yeah, I see her over there.
You need more time in the Isles. Build your fortitude.
Always did know how to win friends.
I was provoked.
Saw it happen. Wanted to talk to me about something?
Amos Ipsis, a specialist on djinns. Heard of him? I found a tome he penned in the Emperor's library. Ipsis set off for Skellige one day and was never heard from again. I asked some of the local folk. Some here still remember him.
Alright, this is very fascinating, but why are you interested in this?
Why are you even interested? Djinns are dangerous sometimes, and malicious all the time.
I remember. But the advantages outweigh the risks. If I can tame a djinn, I shall gain incredible power. And that could be useful to us one of these days.
Okay. So, is there any specific reason for it, or is it just a general search for power? I mean, the quest is called The Last Wish, and this is about a djinn, apparently. Now, as you know, I have not read the books, but I do know a thing or two, you know, from the games and from codex entries. And I know that Geralt, at some point in the past, basically made a wish from another djinn to bind Yennefer and himself together in some form. So, I would be very surprised if this has nothing to do with that, because of the name of the quest and the fact that apparently there's a djinn involved again. But okay, I'm sure we will find out sooner or later. So, how do you know the mage had a djinn?
You sure this mage actually had a djinn?
His books strongly suggest he did. He describes taming one, harnessing energy from its power.
And where would we look for him?
Nowhere to look for the mage and the djinn?
The locals say they last saw Amos's ship off the coast of Hindersfjall, just before a once-in-an-eon storm broke.
Doubt we'll find them then. Mage is probably fish food, and the djinn escaped.
Not necessarily. But even if it is so, I'll not give up without seeing some evidence. Will you help me? I've no gold to offer in reward, but I shall be ever so grateful.
Alright, well, I didn't come here to not help you. Plus, I'm curious to see how this will go. So, yeah, sure, I will help you.
Since you put it that way, fine, I'll help you.
Thank you. A boat awaits in the harbor. Come.
Alright, to the harbor it is.
He felled the giant.
And
See,
we
you've
got an
managed to
entry
prepare
on
everything
djinns.
already.
I have.
How could you possibly know I'd agree?
I didn't. Decided to risk it.
Well, I think that was a good guess. But I may want to read up on that bestiary entry on djinns.
Lead the way.
Just once, you might try to take the initiative.
Would you even let me?
It would depend on the situation.
Well, I'm happy to follow you if you know the way.
Something I've always wondered.
Okay, let me have a quick look at my bestiary. Djinns. Well, that is a very ominous and vague image. The picture emitted a pull of glowing red smoke. The smoke pulsated, then gathered into an irregular sphere floating in front of the poet's head. The first longing a tale fantastic in all ways. A djinn is a powerful air spirit, a condensation of the power of said element endowed with consciousness and character. The latter usually nasty. According to legend, djinns can grant even the most far-fetched wishes, though they do so begrudgingly. Unusually powerful mages can capture and tame these beings. A mage who succeeds in doing so can then draw energy from such a spirit, using it to cast spells without having to summon the power from traditional sources. Only a handful have ever managed this feat, however, for djinns fight to avoid such a fate with stubborn determination. To imprison a djinn and bend it to one's will, one must first weaken it, and that is no easy task. Fighting djinns is extraordinarily difficult. They can fling off spells in an instant that the most accomplished human mages could never master with years of preparation. What's more, by manipulating the element of the air, they can summon gales, powerful storms, even hurricanes. Luckily, as magic beings, they are vulnerable to silver, yet steel will do them no harm. Alright, fair enough. So, good to have that piece of information. Let's continue.
You
Drink last night too?
The ship carrying the djinn sank somewhere in this area.
Not too precise as leads go.
I'll cast a spell on our boat. We'll know if there are any wrecks on the seafloor below us.
All right, let's get to work.
Mind if I take the helm?
I got a choice.
No.
Well, to be fair, I have spent so many hours on a boat in recent days. I'm glad to let you take the helm. So, well, I'll have to climb in here.
Getting in or not?
I'm already here. Don't worry. Call me horses. All right.
Not sure this djinn thing's a good idea.
We managed to seize one before. Do you remember?
Of course. Dandelion almost lost his voice that time.
How lucky your exorcism saved it. It was poetic.
Yeah, how was I supposed to know that incantation meant begone and plow yourself?
You should have studied foreign languages.
Gonna keep bringing that up for the rest of my life.
Of course. Your last wish effectively assured it.
My wish was about us being together always, not about you mocking my every mistake.
Careful what you wish for. And when your wish is granted, you must accept it with all attendant circumstances.
Yeah.
And as for your missteps, I don't rightly see why I shouldn't laugh if they're amusing. There's something here, on the bottom. It's too deep here. You can't dive that long.
You underestimate me.
On the contrary. After all, I asked you for help. I'll cast a spell. It will slow your heart for a time. You can stay submerged longer.
Assad Eich Criede Rithorn.
Ready. Careful down there.
Alright, that's interesting. And yeah, we just got a little summary of what happened when he made his wish, apparently. Also, I'm kind of looking at the runes at the wall of the ship. It looks like it's supposed to mean storm, but this is not a correct use of runes that way. At least not if they are supposed to be, you know, exactly like the real counterparts, because the rune that is supposed to be an R is actually an O, for example. And I'm pretty sure the T isn't correct either. Anyway, I digress a lot. So let's yeah, jump into the water and see if we can find that wreck, huh?
How's your bath? Water warm enough for you?
Jump in, see for yourself.
Seawater wreaks havoc on my complexion. Just find the wreck.
I'm pretty sure this isn't warm at all. I'm pretty sure it's cold as hell. Oh, and we already have some drowners greeting us here. Oh, I see. I guess I have to dive down here. And saying that I would, you know, have more time that I can spend underwater seems to be a bit of an understatement, because it looks like I basically have unlimited time. Because I have no
How's it going?
air supply bar.
I hate it when you read my mind.
Strictly speaking, I'm not reading your mind, but using telepathy. Besides, you've nothing to hide, right?
Wouldn't admit it if I did. Not the point.
See anything interesting?
A shipwreck and a cavern. I'll look inside.
Okay, let's see what we can find here. Alright, I mean, this looks like a very tiny boat, though.
Snapped masts, busted planks, and a whole swarm of drowners. Probably drawn by the corpses of drowned crew, then made their nest here. There's also a Clan Drummond figurehead.
Not the right ship. Come back up.
Okay, return to the boat. But, there apparently is stuff down here anyway, so... give me a few moments to look around. And pick up the loot. So what are these weird plants or whatever that is? It looks like they're glowing. Alright, I'm going to grab this and look at this giant shell over here. And yeah, I think I don't need the buckthorn, but I will take this loot. Right, I think that's about it. Let's go back to the surface. And it's quite convenient that I don't have to worry about my air supply. Alright. So, what now? Oh, I guess I have to go back here.
Where to now?
Wherever the leads take us.
It's actually quite pleasant to not steer for a moment and just, you know, be a passenger.
Say we find the Jinn. What'll you do? Ask for a beautiful house? And a palace? And a queen's crown?
Are we still talking about the Jinn? Or have we moved on to a talking fish?
Doesn't much matter. Both make wishes come true. What would yours be?
You'll learn in due course.
Was that a reference to the tale of the fisherman and his wife?
Something's here. Another wreck.
Let's see if our Jinn's down there.
So maybe Yennefer doesn't want to use a Jinn to harness its power, but maybe she actually wants to make a wish, huh? Anyway, let's see what's down here. Alright, I see a boat over here. And a bunch of loot.
Found a wreck. It's been here a while. Wood's rotted.
Look around, but be careful. Look for something that might indicate it's the mage's ship.
Well, I see a few things here, but let me pick up the loot anyway. So, what is this?
Beautiful craftsmanship.
What do you have?
A war horn, bearing Clan Hamai symbols.
So, this doesn't seem like the mage's ship.
Got a chest, really old. Must have fell off the wrecked longship.
Can you open it?
Hoping for pirate treasure.
I hope to find the Jinn. Try to open it.
Alright, I'll do it.
Now that's what I call war booty.
Have you found the Jinn?
No, but I found something that could be just as valuable to me as the djinn is to you.
What exactly? I'm pretty sure he doesn't mean the crowns or the blunt axe or the manuscript or the armor, so I guess it's the wine or whatever it is. Alright, take it. But yeah, I need to find more clues, I guess. Already looked at this. What about this over here?
Got something. A Skelliger's buckler. Clan Hamai symbols.
Donar's clan.
Donar was a babe in swaddling clothes when this buckler landed here. Longship belonged to Clan Dimon. Yen. Doubt any of these boats were the mages. These are old sunken longships.
Come back then. We must search elsewhere.
Okay, so it's not the boat we're looking for either. Yeah, but let me see if there's anything else of interest here.
Arrows stuck in the side. The kind pharaoh folk use.
Okay, so I guess this is just some random Skelliger ship that's sunk in a conflict between different clans. Right, and that seems to be all there is to the space. So let's go back to our boat, and then I suppose we'll have to look for another wreck. Alright. Off we go.
You're getting better at this.
Go even quicker if you helped me down there.
I prefer to observe matters from up here, most definitely.
Yeah, like when we were looking for the golden dragon and an avalanche swept us off the trail. Me clinging to the remains of a bridge for dear life. You gripping my waist, admiring the view. Remember? Chasm below us was breathtaking. Rustling trees, a lazily flowing stream.
I remember, though I found myself admiring what I had right in front of me.
Also, it seems like they weren't exactly bothered by the siren trying to eat them. Oh, I know this place.
Something strange about those rocks.
And there's something on the bottom. We'll see what it is.
Yeah, I have been to this place before when I was doing my underwater bounty, underwater loot picking up. But I didn't find anything here. I just went to this place because it had an interesting shape. It looks like, you know, the impact crater of a meteoroid or something like that. So I went here and looked around, but I didn't find anything. But I didn't actually dive down here, to be honest. I just looked at the islands. So yeah, let's dive into the water after we killed that annoying siren over there. And see what we can find down here. Well, first of all, another siren. Let's get rid of her. And yeah, let's kill that one over here too before we continue. Alright, that seems to be all. Nope, there's yet another one. Alright. So, I mean, this does look like an impact crater, though. I mean, look at this.
Something doesn't do it justice. A huge crater, as if a meteorite landed here.
I must see it.
Diving in after all?
No, I shall cast another spell to see through your eyes. Now relax. I su foltia bedem ein eichte illivaid.
What did you do? Everything
That is no
bubble now.
meteorite crater.
What is it then?
The effect of teleportation. A powerful force cut out a fragment of the seabed, rocks and everything lying within the teleportation zone.
Always claimed portals were dangerous.
I believe we're on the right track. Look for anything that might contain a djinn.
Fine. but get out of my eyes. Too cramped in here for us both.
I su foltia bedem ein achte illivaid.
Alright, that's better. Is it because of her eyes that are purple too, that everything turned purple? Anyway, we have, well, parts of a wreck anyway. So does this mean that basically this is part of a ship and the rest of the ship got teleported away? Alright, let's have a look around. We have some loot here.
Silver, pearl-encrusted cutlery. Ship belonged to someone awfully wealthy.
Amos was no pauper. It could very well be his ship.
Okay, so we are probably on the right track here. I mean, signs of powerful teleportation, kind of a sign of, you know, magic activity. So I guess we're on the right trail here. Ooh.
No gin here, but there's something you ought to like.
What?
Half a seal.
That'll do. Come back up.
Okay, but give me another second. I want to see if there's anything else down here. I can't seem to investigate the ship though. I mean, it's red, but doesn't respond. And oh, what is this guy? This looks like something I'm supposed to investigate. You know, the bubbles and stuff, but again, I'm not seeing any place to interact. And now I'm stuck in the boat. Let's get away from here. And what is this?
Something cut this basket exactly in half.
Yeah, I'm guessing whatever teleported the ship away didn't manage to teleport all of it, and thus it got cut in half, which is not really fortunate for the people on it. Anyway, I'm going to pick up the loot and then I will go back to Yennefer. Alright, I don't see anything else here. Let's get back to the surface. This is a very long way up. Alright. So, what do we do now?
Only found half. Can you do anything with this?
I can use it to locate the other half, to within a dozen yards.
And once we find that, we should find the gin.
Exactly. Ready? I'll take us there on the count of 3.
Oh, no, not another portal.
Stop whining. 1, 2...
As long as we don't get cut in half, we should go fine.
3.
Said you were gonna go on 3.
I did. Look, we must search the area.
Yen, not so fast. Gotta tell me what this is about first. Why do you want this gin?
But you already know. A djinn's power is priceless to a mage.
But, I mean, surely you have something more specific in mind than that, and it's not just about, you know, the power and whatever you may want to do with it. So, what exactly do you want to do with the power?
That I know, but I also want to know how you plan to use it. Wouldn't go to these lengths if it wasn't something important.
You're right. It's important. Even very important. How long has this been going on, Geralt? This thing between us? 15, 20 years? We repeatedly split up, then returned to one another. Something draws us to each other, but I can never be certain if it's a true feeling or merely a bit of mischief by a djinn.
So that's it? This is about my last wish.
You asked that Jinn to bind us together forever. I want to ask this one to take that wish back.
Huh. Yeah, to be honest, I completely understand that. And I think if I was in her position, I would do the same. Because, I mean, I think there's no doubt that at some point, you know, there were real emotions involved in this. But time has passed and people change, and personally I would want to be sure that, you know, my, I don't know, relationship is based on something real and not just, you know, the side effects of a spell or whatever. So I can totally understand why she would do that. But maybe I'm going to ask her anyway to hear what she has to say about it. But personally, I can totally understand it.
Why would you want to do that?
To see what it's like without it. To see if we'll still matter to one another. Or if we'll be like two strangers.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So I was right in my assumption that this has something to do with Geralt's wish that he made long time ago. And I gotta say this, I think this is a very clever way to address this topic. And I think it's a topic that had to be addressed in order to, you know, go on with this story. Because there's one particular, let's call it issue, that the game had to contend with ever since, you know, the first game actually. And that's the fact that, you know, on the one hand, the writers decided to base their story on a pre-existing lore with pre-existing characters and their, you know, pre-existing unique background stories. And obviously they couldn't just ignore that. I mean, maybe they took some liberty with it, but there are few elements that they can't just ignore, because obviously people who read the books would expect it to be in the game as well. So on the one hand they had this, you know, whole backstory that they had to, you know, deal with. On the other hand, they wanted to make a game where you can make decisions and where you have different options of, you know, what path you want to choose. And I'm pretty sure they wanted to make the game accessible to people who haven't read the books as well. So they kind of had to find a balance here, and I think for the most part they managed to do it. For the most part, because in the first game they basically solved this problem by simply giving Geralt amnesia. So basically they kind of pressed the reset button on his character, and then you spend the entirety of the first game kind of rebuilding Geralt from scratch as a person. And depending on your decisions, you know, the Geralt that you were building may have been different in one way or another, because there was some, you know, liberty on which path you wanted to pick. So with the amnesia trick, they basically managed to incorporate the pre-existing lore, but at the same time giving you the possibility to make choices. However, obviously the amnesia doesn't solve everything, and this in particular is something that obviously is not solved by amnesia, because the wish that Geralt made is still active, basically. So I guess one could argue that in this regard Geralt doesn't really have a choice, because the wish kind of prevents him from choosing anything but Yennefer in the long run. But at the same time, obviously the writers wanted people to give a choice here, especially since, you know, for 2 games you had the option to go with Triss. So I guess they couldn't just say, well, we're going to ignore that now, and now you don't have a choice anymore. So they had to address this in some form, and I think this is a very clever way to do this, by saying, let's have Yennefer try to undo this wish, basically pushing the reset button on this situation as well, and opening up the decisions again. So after this, Garrett is free to make a choice again, potentially for Yennefer or against her, which he conceivably couldn't have done before, right? I mean, we don't know how the Jinn's magic is supposed to work, so it could very well be that the only reason why they've been together for so long is because of that wish. So yeah, they had to do something about it in order to make the story work and still give the player a choice here. And I think this is a very interesting and very clever way to solve this. So yeah, let's do this.
Wondered that myself many times.
You see, we're just a step away from learning the truth. Come, let's search the ship.
Alright, let's do this. Oh, so this is the other half of the ship, I guess. But, where exactly?
Seems Amos was quite the eccentric, asking the Jinn to lift half his ship to a mountaintop.
He didn't necessarily. Jinns are inherently mischievous. This one might have granted his wish and perverted it in doing so.
In that case, I'd appreciate it if you didn't wish I'd disappear from your life.
I've yet to decide how to word it.
Well, I hope you're going to word it well. But yeah, this is an interesting point, because apparently a Jinn's wish can take an unexpected form on an unexpected turn, and it may not work exactly the way it was intended. So I guess that maybe when Garrett made that wish, he wasn't specifically intending to put some form of emotional compulsion on Yennefer or himself. But theoretically, that is exactly what, you know, could come out of it. So I can understand that Yennefer says, okay, I want to make sure that this is real. Not just my own feelings, but also Geralt's. And, you know, whatever the decision at the end will be, I would say that it's a much healthier basis for a relationship, one way or the other, to say, let's not, you know, basis a relationship on a wish, but let's make sure that we actually want this. So I think this is a very, very good quest. Anyway, where exactly are we? Oh, well, we're over here. And yeah, this is the place where we looked for the wreckage. Huh. Also, there's no way we made it from... Oh, actually we started in Larvik, right? Well, I guess we could have made it over there in such a short time. Anyway, yeah, let's have a look at that ship. Also, I'm pretty sure there's no way to get up here other than, you know, teleporting. There are actually some places down here that I haven't been to yet. Look at that. But that's something for another episode. Let's go and investigate the ship.
We should explore the ship.
Alright, I will have a look around. Well, we have a bunch of loot and some
Nothing
stuff
interesting.
over here. Okay, but there are some... They almost look like photos, but I think they're Gwent cards. I kind of see like a griffin over there, and that may be a crone.
Nothing here.
Alright. That's not of interest either. In that case, let's look on the outside. I'm getting kinda seasick because the boat is not very straight. Alright, we have more stuff down here. Okay, let me pick up the loot first.
Mystery of mysteries, Agnes of Glanville.
I wonder if this is of interest to the quest. Maybe I'm just going to read it anyway. Among the many creatures of our world, there are but two that are able to draw and absorb the power, and these are cats and dragons. Both species instinctively sense the presence of magic intersections and often choose them as resting places, which is strange, for other animals avoid these same spots. Numerous theories attempt to explain this behavior, but none do so with thorough success. Some scholars claim dragons use the power they imbibe to fly, for as the natural philosophers have proven, no creature of their size and mass should be capable of lifting itself into the air using such meager wings. I honestly have never considered the physics and biology of dragons and their capability to fly. So, yeah, maybe it's magic. As for cats, there is a theory stating the powers behind their gift for seeing things in complete darkness. Others claim this ability is theirs by nature, and they use the power of the intersections for other unknown purposes. Indeed, that all members of the Falidae genus are able to see beings from other planes, invisible persons, and emanations of the power has been proven beyond any doubt on numerous occasions. Well, I do know that cats don't like Geralt. They're always angry at him. Okay, take that stuff too.
Wonder what this means.
Well, I don't know, this could be like a magical lamp with a djinn inside. But this is probably not how djinns work in this world, so I guess I'm not looking for a magic lamp. We have some boots here. Let me grab the loot first. Elemental Empires.
Elemental Empires by Gian Battista.
Is this interesting? Okay, this apparently is about djinn, so I'm going to read this too. None of the 4 planes or dimensions, those of fire, water, earth and air, is accessible to mere mortals. They are inhabited, however, by creatures known as genies. There are 4 types, each corresponding to one of the 4 elements which comprise their respective essence. Each type of genie also counts its antithesis among the others. Thus, the Marids, aligned with the element of water, are opposed by the fiery Ifrits. The plane of earth is inhabited by the Dao genies, and the dimension of air which opposes it is home for genie, whose name, incidentally, is the root of the word genie. Okay, this is what we read in the bestiary before. This last term is often used by simple folk to refer to all creatures that inhabit the elemental planes, which is an obvious blunder. Obviously. Unusually powerful sorcerers can sometimes bind such beings and bend them to their will, thus acquiring tremendous might to the point of near omnipotence. For a genie, being the living personification of an element's energies, is akin to an almost boundless reservoir of the power. Thus, its master can draw energy from the genie for spellcasting without the tiresome need to channel from traditional sources. However, those who are able to bind a genie are few and far between, for the strength of the inhabitants of the 4 planes is matched only by the cunning which they employ to avoid such a fate. Okay, this is more or less what we read before, but interesting. Anyway, basically it says,
here.
Be careful of genies. Alright, now let's investigate this place.
Nothing interesting.
Alright.
Nothing here.
But what about this thing?
Nothing interesting here.
Alright. Well, let's have a look at the boots.
Nice shoes. Looks like the impact with the mountain was so powerful it popped the wearer right out of them.
Okay. Oh, what happened here? Hang on a second. Let me pick this up first.
Wonder what this means.
Probably nothing. Okay, let's have a look at this.
Blood. Someone was dragged across the deck. War left this mark when the ship suddenly tipped to one side.
I have the bad feeling that our mage might be below that cupboard or whatever this is.
Yen, think you should see this.
What do you have? It's Amos. Looks exactly like the etching in the book. Except his head was intact.
So, do you think the Jinn killed him?
Think the Jinn did this to him?
No, it wouldn't attack its master. This looks rather like an unfortunate accident. When the storm broke, Amos must have uttered a wish like, "Take us away, anywhere, to a mountaintop, even." And the Jinn granted the wish literally. They had a hard landing. Amos was thrown off his feet and against the wall. The bookcase did the rest.
Always knew too much studying could kill you.
Alright, let's search his body. But, yeah, I mean, this is another example that apparently Jinn's wish can backfire or at least, you know, take an unexpected turn and doesn't go the way that you may have intended.
If he died while being teleported, Seal might still be on him. Behold.
Bravo! Come to the deck. I've an idea.
Alright, follow Yennefer to the top deck. But can I can save the game here. Okay, so I think I'm going to make a cut here and we will continue this in the next episode. And yeah, I feel that there may be a decision coming up, which I'm slightly apprehensive about. But anyway, I think we're just going to call it a day for now. And we will see what happens with the Jinn and the wish in the next episode. So, as usual, thank you for watching and see you again next time.